Welcome, everyone, to the Shielding Summit. All right, so I'll start a little bit about just explain the logistics or housekeeping. You enter the Shielded Island, and you are at Chalet Robinson in Brussels. So these spaces that we have available are the main stage, so there's only this one, and the food and drinks are served downstairs. There's a terrace, and there's also a tent. The toilets are at the underground floor. So for communications, this event is live streamed on X. It is also recorded. It is also photographed. If you do not want to be recorded or photographed, we have these shield stickers, so you can put them on you, and then the AV team will just not show you a feature in the recording. We will also prepare kind of like a recap video after the event. So make sure to follow the Twitter account if you want to look at it later. And also, if you want to share pictures or your experience with your friends on X, you can tag Shielding Summit. That's the account for the event. And exercise data sovereignty. So what this means is that at the Shielding Summit, it is up to you how much data you want to share about yourself. And this is why we do welcome you to use pseudonyms during networking. We have a variety of masks available. So these are, you can see, you have like different levels of shielding. So you have like full shield, you have like partial shielding, and you have fun shielding. So it's up to you how much you want to share about yourself. And we just wanted to make it a little bit more fun while you do that. Yes, and again, if you do not want to be recorded, do signal with the sticker that you don't want to be in the cameras. We have a virtual community, the Shielded community on Signal. It is a Signal group chat, and if you scan this, you can join directly there. So the purpose of this chat is to, if you need any support, if you need any help, you can ask there, and the team and the organizers are taking a look. If you have any questions or feedback, also super welcome. And we might be sharing resources during the day, like links, documents, something that might be interesting for the community. And we will also keep it so we can all stay in touch after the summit. Yeah, just give it a minute if you want to scan it. Great, so we have a pretty intense program. There are two parts. The entire summit is only panels, except for the introduction and the closure talks. The first part starts after this talk, and then we're going to have a coffee break with some snacks. The second part is, again, two panels, and then one final presentation to wrap it up. So the scope of the Shielding Summit is very broad. We do focus a lot on privacy, data sovereignty, but we also want to cover the topic around public goods funding and just generally funding privacy as a public good, as well as interoperability, the idea that how the technologies that we're building and our ecosystems and communities can actually communicate and collaborate with each other. So the topics you might be hearing about today include terms like the shielded multi-chain, what is that? Data protection and regulations, privacy for national defense, data sovereignty, public goods funding, privacy as a public good, end-to-end data control, information flow control, and all discussions around building anti-fragile infrastructure. And the Shielding Summit is an interface between tech builders, users, and policy advocates. The entire purpose is to actually bring in these people who are working in different parts of privacy in decentralized systems, and then cannot try to have them speak to each other because there have been really little chances out there where all of us could get together and have a serious conversation about how we can advance the frontiers of privacy in these kinds of systems. So the program is structured this way, a lot of emphasis in discussions and panels, because we want to reduce the distance between the people who are speaking today, representing their projects, their communities, their work, and the audience. So please ask questions. We will dedicate at least 10 minutes Q&A. This is a really crucial part of the Shilling Summit. And until then, make yourself comfortable. Definitely, there are a lot of empty seats in front, close to the stage. Don't feel intimidated by the speakers that are coming. They're all normal human beings that do not bark. They all care about the same values as you do. So yeah, get close to the stage. Feel closer to the other human beings, even though they're just speaking on the stage. So I would like to give a shout out to all the organizers that came together to put this, to create this event. Starting from the top, Privacy Guardians, who organizes a series of events called Privacy Reunion, pretty cool, cypherpunk-driven community based on the French side of Switzerland. We have Il Padrino here, who will be from Privacy Guardians, who will be emceeing the second part of the program. Then we get the Web3 Privacy Now folks or cats, I don't know how to refer to them, but they do organize a lot of events as well, and they do have a really interesting repository where they gather all the information around the projects that build in privacy, and with the purpose of spreading awareness about them. Shout out to Web3 Privacy Now. Then we have the folks like Knowable. I'm not sure if Gavin is right now there. Well, anyways, Knowable is a team that has been helping out in the Namada ecosystem, one of the projects I'm working on, for a long time. And what drives them is this entire idea around like building self-sovereign infrastructure and funding public goods. It's like an area that they really want to focus on. Then we have Shielded Labs that we got Zuko coming over on a panel later, but Jason actually could not make it in person, but I think he will be watching the live stream. Helix is one of the teams building the Namada and the Namada protocols, and we have the Namada Foundation supporting this event. So yeah, this is the end of the introduction. Welcome again to the Shilling Summit, and I hope you have a great time. So very quickly, I would like to introduce you to the Shilling Summit DAO. So the vision for the Shilling Summit is to provide an interface between tech builders, people who practice and want to practice data sovereignty or privacy, and as well as people who advocate for human freedoms and advocate for policy. So the entire design of this event is actually try to facilitate this environment where we turn this thinking of like we are competing with each other, like player versus player mechanics into more cooperative mechanics. So we do want to facilitate, that's one of the purposes of this event, is to facilitate collaboration, facilitate communication among the different groups. And it's organized by independent teams. So all the teams I mentioned before are independent. And to sustainably maintain this independence for the Shilling Summit, the idea is that it will only be supported through donations, and then donations will go directly to the Shilling Summit DAO. And it will be used to fund and organize future teams who want to take over the leadership and want to take over the organization of possible future chapters of the Shilling Summit. So if you like this event later and you feel like supporting this vision, the donations are accepted for now in these temporary wallets. It will be in the transition later on. We'll set up like proper multisig and so on. Oh, also, if you do feel like you align with this vision and you would like to help in organizing, obviously more teams, individuals helping are more than welcome. Yes, so leave this here. Yeah. Oh, for now, we just like set it up to receive very simple USDC on Ethereum. But in the future, I do want to try out how we can receive ZEC, this is shielded ZEC, as well as shielded any other tokens using the Namada network. Great, that was it about the Shilling Summit DAO. Okay. Then one last part about the introduction. I would like to take next minutes and just have yourselves ask this question, and I will share my experience or like my personal views on what motivated me to get involved with this space and why I am here today. So actually, the reason why I got involved into this space was because I kind of recognized that at the moment in the world, we have these microsystems, we have these mechanisms where we're playing a game where was characterized by a lot of centralized organizations who have a disproportional amount of power in extracting value out of people and the users in comparison to the value they add back into the system. So this is what I call, in summary, the game A. Game A is the world we live in today, where it got a little bit better since we have the centralized systems, but we're still far from the game B, which is the goal. In this world, this world is characterized by fragile macroeconomic mechanisms that, in the event of, in case like there are black swan events, everything just breaks. It is characterized by the imbalanced relationship between users and systems. Again, this idea that we rely on the systems, and then we are required for the systems to work, but at the same time, the systems have a disproportionate amount of power in extracting value out of people. The infrastructure is extremely susceptible. Even it wasn't, the SWIFT system, the banking system, it was not designed for this, but it is incredibly susceptible to the capture by overarching governments and megacorps. And there is no data sovereignty. Game B is this world where we have more alternatives where the relationship between the system and the users is more balanced. The infrastructure is not only designed to be neutral, but it's actually credibly and practically neutral. We're turning these PvP games into co-op games. We have more alternatives to services and the products that we rely on, that we use in day-to-day lives, from publicly maximizing corporations. And it is a world where intermediaries are a choice, but they're not a requirement. That is Game B. And the reason why I'm here is because I want to help, I want to contribute to the transition from Game A to Game B. And in order to achieve that, data sovereignty is paramount. So protocols are evolving. We are slowly transitioning towards it, and decentralized systems are helping. The Bitcoin protocol introduced a system or service where everyone could pay anyone across the world and across any borders without having to ask anyone for permission. The Zcash protocol enabled anyone to pay each other across borders without having to publish your data on the blockchain and also without having to ask anyone for permission. With the Namada protocol, we are enabling people to use any applications and interact with any other chains without having to publish their data on the blockchain. So protocols are evolving, but it is not sufficient. We have the technology, but then why is it that only cypherpunks are using them? Why is it that only people who run their own servers are using this technology? Like, until billions of people are using self-sovereign technology, the tech is not there. It is also not sufficient if policies are here to protect people, if policies are here to create a framework in which citizens can coexist with governments, where we get the best out of both worlds, why is it that there are an increasing number of individuals and teams that are afraid of building privacy-preserving self-sovereign technologies? And with users, why is it that people don't care about self-sovereignty? How do we get them to care about it? What is it that can we do? So yeah, the last question I would like to give to the audience here is, why are you here? and what excites you about being here, what keeps you here as well.